So, what's going on, guys? This is Mike Rolling here, and in today's video, we'll be talking about the Doctor. Before that, please like, sub, and comment down below who you want to be the killer or survivor next. The Doctor is a 115 movement speed killer, has a 32-meter terror radius base, and is the first killer that we're going to talk about that is tall. His power, Carter's Spark, is a 3-way power. His first power is the Man Stairs effect. The Man Stairs effect has three tiers. Let's start about talking the first Menace tier that causes survivors to scream and have a 33.33% chances of a skill check appearing randomly and in a random place and a direction. And Menace Tier 2 causes survivors to scream once more and start watching Illusions of the Doctor and have a 66.66% of having that weird skill check. And finally, Madness Tier 3 causes survivors to scream once more and scream randomly and see a lot of doctors. Survivors have a 99.99% of having the weird skill check and cannot basically do anything. And they can only do the snap out of it. Snap out of it is an action that has a lot of skill checks, and if you miss them, you scream, reset the action, and basically it. If you successfully end snap out of it, the survivors will return to the madness tier 1. The second part of the power is shock therapy. Shock therapy requires you to press and hold the power button, that is the right mouse button, and you unleash a range shock that is not very far and in front of you. Survivors hit by this ability will scream and will not be able to interact with any pallet vaults or repairing or healing or anything for a short amount of time. Survivors that are affected by the oblivious will be removed of the oblivious when they are hit by the shock therapy. The static blast. Once you press and hold the active ability button, that is control, you will set up the blast within your terror radius. Survivors struck by it will scream and increase its madness, and it goes off in cooldown. Remember that also as the shock therapy, survivors that are oblivious will be removed of that status effect. Now let's talk about these three teachables. Overwhelming presence, monitor abuse, and overcharge. The best one being a tie between monitor abuse and overcharge. But let's talk about what is slightly more useful. Monitor the abuse. Monitor the abuse. Each time you're in a chase, your terror radius is increased by 8 meters. And while you're out of the chase, your terror radius is decreased by 8 meters and the FOV, field of view, is increased by 3 degrees. Why is this kinda good? So you can, in some killers, it's really good, like Michael Myers, Ghostface, Trapper, killers that want to be sneaky and want to catch you by surprise. This perk can be amazing. In other killers, like the Doctor itself, is kinda trash because you need that terror radius to blast people. Then we have Overcharge. Each time you kick a generator, the next survivor interacting with it will face a tremendously difficult skill check. And if they miss, there'll be an extra 3% of regression. This why Overcharge isn't as great as it sounds like, because it doesn't stack with Ruin. Ruin automatically starts regressing, and for that reason, you cannot kick the generator once more, not add it. So, for that reason, kinda sucks Overcharge. Last but not least, we have Overwhelming Presence. Uh, you might remember this part from my last video in the shitty perk. And I am right, this perk is shitty. But yes, these benefits. Each time a survivor that it's in within your terror radius will have its item consumption rates increase by 80, 90, or 100%. Why is this bug shitty? There are really better options. Really, this is a waste of a perk slot. Basically, if you want to do the update, please. Other than that, if you're going for that anti-item builds, sure, this can be useful, but not by much. Let's talk about the build. I prepared to you a epic and fun and mimi build for you. We have Hunter's Lullaby. What is this is the following. Each time a survivor misses a skill check, they will receive an extra 6% of regression penalty. Bonk. And the second part is each time you hook a survivor, you gain the token. 1 to 4, the time between the skill check warning and the skill check itself will become shorter. And at 5 tokens, they have no warning. You probably are wondering what will go with this build. And it's a skill check build, anti-skill check to be honest. Then we have Unnerving Presence, another perk you might recognize from my last video. This perk does is the following. Each time your survivors are within your terror radius, they'll receive a 10% greater chance of triggering skill checks, and its success zones are reduced by 60%. Why is this in this build? I will talk about another shitty perk down the line, but this perk with the add-ons I will mention after, and the perk will make the terror radius gigantic, enormous, and with lullaby, basically, if you have 5 stacks, they will not hear the warning. This can be really painful for them. Overcharge works with the unnerving presence and with lullaby. So yeah, it's a great duo combo, and it's a perk of the doctor, so it has to be here. Then we have distressing, the other shitty perk that I mentioned yesterday in my video. This perk grants you 26% more terror radius and gain 100% more blood points, but this part is shit. If it's worse than shit. But distressing in the doctor, as I mentioned yesterday, I think it's a great duo combo. Let's talk about the add-ons. We have the double calm. Why the double calm? Because while you have the static blast ready and off cooldown, you have an even bigger terror radius. And your terror radius will be smaller if the static blast is on cooldown. This can make your terror radius basically occupy the entire map in some maps by itself when your static blast is off cooldown. This can be amazing and great for doctors. You want to make sure that they are in menace tier 3 at all times. The gameplay is quite simple. You try to get them all to tier 3, hook them to gain the lullaby stacks, and hope they miss skill checks. Great maps for the doctor, or small maps like the game from Jigsaw Piece, its own map, the Shadow Glass from Larry's Memorial, and the school, Mary's Ladder. And always remember that to counter Doctor, enter the locker or have calm spirit. The, this has been Microlink here. I hope you really enjoyed this video. Remember to like, sub, hit the notification bell, and comment down below which killer or survivor you want next. And remember our like goal, 10 likes, and I will send a kiss through a comment to every comment down below. That's it. This has been Microlink. See ya.